Hi, welcome to another edition of Business Bites from Bauer Media Northern Ireland. My name is David Tighe, the Managing Director of Bauer Media Northern Ireland. And this week, my guest is Belinda O'Neill, the founder of Be Inspired to Be. Belinda, welcome to Business Bites.
Hello, David. Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be part of your fantastic, uplifting podcast. So thanks very much for having me today, David.
Well, it's our pleasure to have you, and we want to find out all about you and your story. So we will get straight into the discussion. So, Belinda, you started off, 2 decades in banking, and here you are now as the founder of Be Inspired to Be. So, first of all, before we go back, just tell us a little bit about Be Inspired to Be. What is that?
Yeah, so really it's my own brand, and I established it back in 2017 following a shock cancer diagnosis for a very close family member. I had started writing back in 2016 following a university journey, which reignited my love of writing. And I suppose when something shocking happens in your life, you pluck up the courage to pursue maybe those dreams that's embedded within you, and that's what happened for me. So Be Inspired to Be was born, and I suppose the whole ethos around it is trying to empower, encourage people to be in the moment, in the now, and really focusing on the present and trying to be mindful around what's happening at any given moment in time. So that's probably where the brand name came from. I suppose initially back at the very, very early onset, I was thinking about calling it Be Inspired by Be, because my friends call me Be. But no, because the purpose of the brand is to inspire people, hopefully through my writing and my words and my speaking, to be in the present moment. So yeah, and I'm very proud to have my book, my Be Inspired to Be book of daily inspiration. I'm very proud to hold that in my hands now, and that was launched back on the 8th of December.
Well, it's a great story, but let's just wind the clock back a little bit. So how did you get from 2 decades in banking to suddenly going around the place inspiring people? Not saying that banking isn't an inspiring role, but what happened? Did you always have this in you, and did that event just bring it out, or what?
Yeah, well, I think it was to be fair, David, it was the university journey. I joined Ulster University part-time. I was working full-time in the bank. I was very blessed to be in a managerial position, excellent job, and very grateful for the journey in the bank. And basically, when I sort of looked at my own CV, I've sort of felt, well, I joined the bank when I was 19. I didn't have a professional qualification, and I wanted to gain that accreditation, I suppose. So I joined Ulster University part-time, and basically the program that I undertook was a development managers program, and it was a lot of writing involved because it was very assignment based, and it was through that writing journey that sort of reignited my love of writing, because I did love writing back in school days. And I suppose when I think about my job in the bank, actually there was a lot of writing involved in that too, in a very different way. But this was probably more in the creative space. And, basically then I'd started writing an odd quote in 2016 and just sharing it on my own page, and, my own sort of thoughts and reflections, very sporadically. There was no sort of rhythm to it in any shape or form. But I had this idea for Be Inspired to Be in the back of my mind, about setting up a page and having it solely full of, the words that I was writing, the hopeful, optimistic words. But as I say, back to January 2017, then, whenever a material personal change happened within my family circumstances, and that was the shock cancer diagnosis. I suppose that gave me the courage to pursue that little dream that was niggling away inside of me. And it's grown a lot over the last 5 years. Basically, in 2019, on the 1st of September, I decided to make a personal commitment to write every day, because I wanted a lot of content to be able to fill my book. And I had a lot of content at that stage, but I wanted more, because I wanted the flow of the book to be right. And so I started to write every day on the 1st of September 2019. and I honoured that commitment for actually 2 years. I wrote every morning for 2 whole years. And then it was basically through the pandemic, the online platform really sort of, I suppose, in many ways took wings of its own. And I think it was because people were at home. Everybody was going through a quite challenging, difficult time. And there were, people like myself were seeking out a bit of inspiration to get us through that turbulence. And that's when I really saw my online following grow, and lots of positive feedback come back. So I knew that there was potential for a book, which was a goal of mine. And basically I started to pursue that then in January 2021, when I linked in with a publisher from Galway, Book Hub Publishing, and went on the journey with them. But I actually didn't formally leave my job in the bank until December 31st there, 2021. So I'm embarking on developing Be Inspired to Be as a full-time career now. And I do a lot of speaking. I'm hoping to set up my podcast. Hopefully it's coming in the next couple of weeks. And events as well. I've already hosted 2 charity events with the support of my sister. And we raised £14,000 and undertook 2 major transformations within the intensive care unit of Craigavon Area Hospital, which was the unit that saved our family member's life. So I have my 3rd charity event this November, and the proceeds of that's going to the Friends of the Cancer Centre. So lots happening, but I'm taking it very gently, to be fair, David. I've come off the back of a very fast-paced career in the bank. So I am sort of treading water very, very calmly and gently into this new entrepreneurial world. But I'm excited and I'm enjoying it so far. So definitely no regrets.
That's great, Belinda. That's a brilliant story. So what have you learned? I mean, many people wait and think that at some point in the future they'll do something they've always wanted to do. You seem to have kind of got on with it, albeit through a difficult set of circumstances. What advice would you give people who are sitting there probably watching this now thinking, God, I've always wanted to do this, or I've always wanted to do that, but I've just never managed to do it, or never thought about how to do it?
Yeah, I suppose the best piece of advice is just to make a start. Be Inspired to Be was a form of self-therapy for me, and in many ways it was a hobby when it started. And I was still working full time, still fully engaged in my full-time job. And it was, I'd set the alarm clock at 6 o'clock in the morning to get up to write. And that was brilliant headspace for me in terms of managing my own health and well-being and getting me set up positively for the day. So I suppose if there is a burning desire within you to pursue a passion, make a start in some shape or form. And it can be just, as a side hobby scenario, and just see where it goes. And I suppose when I set up Be Inspired to Be, if somebody had said to me 5 years ago, this is where I'd be sitting today, and I'd have left a long-term career that I was doing quite well in and I was really enjoying, I probably would have said, really, but that's the journey. And I've grown and developed, with Be Inspired to Be, and probably the pandemic maybe progressed things faster as well in terms of my goals for it. So I think, life's too short and we don't know what is going to happen at any given moment in time. So make a start is probably the best advice that I can give. Get that soul fulfillment. It's very, very important.
Yeah, it's very wise words, very wise words. And talking of wise words, it would be remiss of us not to finish this conversation to get some of those wise words, if you're prepared to share some from your book. So show us the book again, perhaps, and then give us a little bit of, there it is, available in all good book places and online as well. So, Belinda.
Yes.
Let's have some of those wise words then.
Perfect. Well, I thought this was an apt one to choose for you, David, because we're obviously talking about change. So this one is called Change. So change, it surrounds us. All change moves us swiftly along. Some changes, they light us up. For others, we need to be strong. Every change happens for a reason, aligned to where we are needed to go. Know that changes enter to allow your purpose to more freely flow. Change opens new doors. Assertively walk through. For on the other side of change, great things shall be waiting for you.
And that's Business Bites for this week. Thank you, Belinda.